Why aren't my Facebook ads working anymore? I'm getting clicks, but I'm not getting any conversions or sales. Is Facebook advertising even effective anymore? There's some of the questions that I get asked as a fractional CMO and as a marketing consultant all the time around Facebook advertising. Most small business owners don't even know the gaps that they've got in their Facebook advertising. They've got no idea about the thousands of dollars that they're wasting, and they don't know how to fix it. More importantly, they're running Facebook advertising like it's 2017, even though the algorithms have changed even in the last 12 months. If you're still running Facebook ads ineffectively, then you want to hang around for this video as I unpack some of the things that you should be doing as a business owner and someone that's running their own small business, the things that you must do if you want to see more sales and more conversions from your Facebook advertising campaigns. Now, before I point out the obvious mistakes and, more importantly, how to fix them, I should start out by saying that ads themselves aren't broken. What's broken is your approach to advertising. For every person that says, my Facebook ads aren't working, there's probably 3 or 4 people that are scaling and growing with Facebook advertising. You see, it's not the ad platform that's doing you wrong. It's not the ad platform that's wasting your money. It's not the ad platform that is not doing good by you, for example. It's your approach. You see, ads don't convert. Ads don't make sales. Ads are just a cog in the bigger wheel or the bigger machine of things. You see, ads don't make sales. What makes sales is offers and funnels and the approach to what you're doing. It's all about a system. It takes a system to make sales. You see, ads don't convert. What converts is funnels and systems. Your ads aren't all by themselves a solution. Your advertising campaigns are a cog in a much bigger machine. What really makes sales and what really makes your bottom line grow when you do advertising is your ability to create a system around the ads and not let the ads themselves be the end solution or be the thing that props everything up. Yes, it's important to get your ad campaigns right. It's important for the targeting. But ads alone don't make sales. Ads alone don't convert customers into raving fans. Ads alone don't get more leads for you. It takes a system. It takes funnels. It takes automation. It takes the right copywriting, the right offers. It's not the ads that are broken on Facebook. It's your approach and your lack of systems. One of the first things that you need to do if you want to get your Facebook advertising really dialed in is to understand the market message media match. See, many people run to Facebook and they, inadvertently run ads by themselves, not knowing what they're doing and just keeping on throwing their money after Facebook advertising without any real direction. But you have to understand the market message media match in marketing. Now, what I mean by that is that there's 3 areas that have to align with your Facebook advertising. Number 1, you have to understand your market. Who is it that you're selling to? Why should they buy from you? What problems do they have? When you really go deep in these questions and you understand the market, then you can move on to the message. What is the copywriting or the words that you're going to create or the content you're going to create for your advertising campaigns that's going to really capture their attention? It's going to really speak to them. What creatives are you going to use to capture their attention, to stop the scroll? The creatives stop the scroll. The content or the copywriting gets them to lean in a bit closer to learn more about your offer and solution. So you have to understand the market and then you have to understand the message. Your message is not only conveyed in the copywriting or the content, but it's also conveyed in the headings of your creative. Now, once you understand the market and you've done a deep dive on the market, and then you've done a deep dive on the messaging, that's when you have to match it up with the media. So you have to match up your market, your messaging, with the media that you're using. So, for example, how you run your ads and what you say on, say, a Facebook ad is vastly different to what you'll say on a Google ad where someone's searching and they're further along in the buying cycle. They understand their problems. They're searching for a solution. They're much further along. The call to actions can be stronger, more urgent, more direct. They're looking for a solution right now. They need a problem solved right now. That is not the case on Facebook. People are going to social media to be entertained, to be educated, to waste time, to chill out, right? They're not going to Facebook to look for your products and services. So with all of that in mind, you have to tailor the market message and media match specifically for your Facebook advertising campaigns. Facebook advertising in 2025 is a complex and complicated algorithm system. It's a system of decisions that's being made in the background by a computer system, and no longer should you just target on interest-based audiences. In fact, most people don't realize that for you to optimize a conversion-based campaign, you'll need at least 50 conversions or 50 data points, like 50 people coming through your funnel, or leads, or conversions, or sales, whatever your campaigns is set on. You'll need 50 of those before you can even optimize your campaigns. So it's all about the algorithm. It's all about feeding the machine the information it needs to find your ideal customers and your buyer personas in that market that I spoke about with the market message media match. The more information that you can feed the algorithm and feed the machine, the better off the response that you'll get. It's like AI these days, ChatGPT, Copilot, things like that. The more information and the better the prompting that you can give these AI things, right? The AI providers, the ChatGPTs and the Copilots, the better the prompting, the more information you give it, the better the output. Facebook advertising is exactly the same. If you're still running ads like it's 2017 and you're not giving Facebook all of the information about your products and services, all the information about the particular data points that come from all different directions, then you're not going to scale with Facebook advertising. The other thing you have to take into account is Facebook is a very complicated system. No longer is it just about showing up on someone's Facebook desktop. You'll have desktop views, you'll have Reels views, you'll have stories, you'll have Marketplace, you'll have audience networks, you'll have WhatsApp, you'll have Instagram. There are so many different formats that you need to tailor towards. You can't just have a one-stop shop for all of those different platforms. Sometimes it takes a different approach for the audience network to show an ad on Facebook versus the audience network, or Facebook versus Instagram, or Facebook ads on Facebook themselves versus WhatsApp. They all take a slightly different approach. The scattergun approach of putting one ad across all of those audience networks doesn't always work. So here are some of the mistakes that I see many small business owners make with their Facebook advertising. And more importantly, when you fix them, that's when you can start launching, growing, and scaling with Facebook advertising. The first mistake is that people boost posts. Look, if you're boosting posts, you're just giving Facebook free money. A boosted post is a great way for doing a brand awareness campaign or getting a particular organic post seen by more people. But don't think it's an ad. It's certainly an ad from your perspective, where you've given someone money to quote unquote advertise for you. But as far as Facebook's concerned, it's not a real ad campaign. You could spend $100 on a boosted post or $100 on an ad campaign. I can tell you right now which one will perform better. Every single day of the week, the ad campaign will work better. It has better targeting and the intentions is better. You're going to Facebook and saying, hey, I've got $100, please boost this post that already exists on my Facebook page. Or you're saying, hey, I've got $100, I want to create a campaign that's specifically achieving these objectives. They're two totally different approaches. The next big mistake that small business owners make when doing their own Facebook advertising is sending traffic to the homepage of their website. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Facebook is a social media platform. People have micro attention spans on social media these days. With the invention of 1-minute reels and 1-minute TikToks and 1-minute shorts on YouTube, people's attention spans are shorter than ever. And if you take someone from being slightly interested in your ad by stopping the scroll, reading your copywriting, and then clicking, all of that can happen within 20 seconds. They've made that decision within 15, maybe 30 seconds, right? And then they land on your homepage of your website. And your website has over 50 different pages for them to go through. You've got 20 different services. You've got, 100 different blogs. You've got the About Us pages, all these different things going on your website. And by the way, a website should have all of those things. A branded website is like a business card on steroids. You absolutely should have all of those things. But the reason you have all of those things on your website is for SEO. It's for search engine optimization. It's so that your website can be found organically. But it's not for social media advertising. What you need to do on social media advertising is have squeeze pages, landing pages, sales funnel pages. What you need to do is take someone from an ad to one particular page where they can't leave. It's like having what we call high walls and clear pathways. I once worked with a guy who was a champion jockey rider, and he used to tell me how they used to put blinkers on horses, and it stopped the horse from getting distracted in the middle of the race, or it stopped the horse getting anxious about the other horses that were around it during the race. So humans are no different. You want to make sure that you give them high walls and clear pathways. Put those blinkers on your target market and just send them to landing pages, sales pages, and funnel pages. And those pages need to talk about exactly the same thing as where they just came from. So if your ad talked about X, Y, and Z, well then on the landing page, don't talk about A, B, and C. Whatever you're talking about in the ad, just expand on that when they land on the page and then give them a very short call to action. And again, it's not like it's 2017. You don't need a 50 scrolling sales page to get a lead or make a sale. People have, as I said, people have micro attention spans. So keep that in mind when you're building out your landing pages and sales page. 3 to 4 scrolls at the most on a mouse is all you need for a landing page to convert and do sales. Any more than that, you run the risk of increasing your bounce rates. The next biggest mistake is not having your pixels and your conversion data set up correctly. We see it all the time. Small business owners and more established e-commerce brands and more established brands reach out to us and they start talking to us. And when we have a deep dive into their Facebook advertising, we can see that the pixels aren't setting up properly or aren't functioning properly. And often what you can get is double signals. And so they might have the pixel installed twice, or they might think that a conversion is a button click on a page or something like that. And so then what you're doing is you're throwing the algorithm or you're throwing Facebook mixed signals. So just for an example, as a case study, let's say, for instance, you've set up a conversion event, or someone in your team or a freelancer or an offshore person set up a conversion event for your Facebook ads being a button click on your page, and that was one conversion event. And then the other conversion event was someone filling out a website form, and you were tracking those as conversion events. Now you as the business owner are thinking, well, no, a lead's a lead. I want a conversion event as a lead, but maybe you didn't get told that, right? And so what happens is when people are clicking on the buttons, right, on the landing pages that the ads are going to, that's creating a conversion event. And so Facebook thinks you want more of those because that's what's happening, right? And yes, it will give you some leads as well because people are filling out the website forms, but it will do both. And so often you can get mixed signals going back to Facebook. And especially if you're running a conversion-based campaign and you think the conversions are a sale or a lead, but they're actually a button click. In my mind, a button click is not a conversion event. A button click is data, for sure, yeah. It's behavior, but it's not a conversion. There's no way you can take that lead and retarget it, right? So make sure your conversion events and your pixels are set up properly. Put the pixels in the right place on your website. Make sure you're tracking the pages that you want to track, and make sure that aligns with your CRM. Do a test for 1 or 2 weeks. If Facebook says that you had 25 leads come in a week, well then in your CRM you should have 25 leads come in a week. They should be equal. If you've got Facebook saying you've got 25 leads coming in, but your CRM is showing 75 leads, you know you have a pixel problem. The pixel and the conversion tracking has not been set up successfully. You can also set up offline events. So let's say, for instance, an e-com site was taking online sales, but they had a large ticket item, let's say $20,000. And a lot of people wanted to do a bank transfer on that $20,000 sale. Well, you're not going to track that because more people want to do a bank transfer than just put $20,000 on their card. So we call that tracking an offline event. So you would set up a Google Sheet using APIs or Zapiers or Zapes and things like that, where you would track that as an offline conversion event. So you feed that information back into Facebook, so Facebook can find more of those people that are likely to spend money, right, buying that high-ticket item. The next biggest mistake is not testing enough creatives and copywriting. As I said before, the creatives stop the scroll, the copywriting pulls people in to have a closer look. So when you're doing your copywriting and creatives, you need to make sure you've got enough to test. Look, I always find that 3 or 4 different variations of creatives is a good way to start, and I'll start that with the same copywriting. You don't want to have too many parameters, and this is a big mistake people make. They have different copywriting, different copywriting, different creatives, and they'll have like 5 to 8 different versions of that and then run them. But if you run 5 to 8 different versions or 5 to 10 different versions of creatives and copywriting together, and each ad is vastly different, it's got different creatives and different copy on every single ad, how do you know which one was the winner? There will be a winner, right? But how do you know that one was the winner compared to something else? So you don't want to have too many parameters or too many differences when you first start out. That's why what we like to do is have 4, maybe 5 creatives, but use the same copywriting on those 4 or 5 different creative variations when we kick off a campaign. That way we know which creative outperformed, and then we can start tweaking the copywriting. So once we know which creatives performed, then we can increase the budget, we can swap out the copywriting, and we can test and test and test. And that's the best way to do your creatives and your copywriting testing, is to constantly evolve. And by the way, you will get an ad from time to time that will just go gangbusters. There'll be ads that will just take off. And it's important to realize those ads you don't change. If something's a winner, it's a winner. There's no need to change it. You shouldn't be changing your creatives and your copywriting just for the sake of changing creatives and copywriting. If you've got a winner, stick to that winner. Don't change a good thing. The next biggest mistake is not having enough automation working in your favor. Like on Google, they have PMax campaigns. The same thing on Facebook, they have performance type campaigns that you can get up and running really easily. I'm not a fan of those, but when I talk about automation, I'm talking about the back end. I like to use as much manual tweaking as possible in the Facebook advertising campaigns, and then I'll use automation at the back end to nurture and convert those leads into sales and clients and customers. So what I'm talking about here is, let's say you're using Facebook lead forms. When someone fills out that Facebook lead form, they should be going into your CRM, either via Zapier or some other way. And inside your CRM, they get a SMS, they get an email. So now you're using multi-channel. They came from Facebook, they filled out a lead form, but instantaneously, straight away, they get like an SMS reaching out to them, right? And then 10 minutes later, they get an email. And then they go into a longer, short-term lead nurture, usually around 2 to 3 weeks, encouraging them to take the next step. Using that automation, you can then track someone's behavior at the back end. Are they opening your SMSs? Are they replying to SMS? You can set up automation so that when someone replies to one of your SMSs, that can get sent as an email to one of your team to follow them up and call them up straight away. And same thing with emails. You can track an email being clicked, and when someone clicks that email, you can notify a team member that someone's been engaged, and they can re-engage that person either via SMS, email one-to-one, or just call that person outright. Using automation is not about setting and forgetting. Using automation is about having a tool and using it as a sales tool in its correct capacity. Now, the next biggest mistake is not having the right offers. Again, you've got to understand the mindset to social media, micro attention span. You've got to make irresistible offers to get people to jump through to the next hoop. If your offers are not irresistible enough, don't expect people to click through to go to your landing pages or your sales funnel pages or to fill out those lead forms on Facebook. Your offers must be irresistible based on their problems. Think about that market message media match. That market message media match should never leave your thought process when creating your Facebook ads. Using that as a foundation, if you like, for all of your advertising campaigns will allow you to create better, more effective, and higher returning Facebook ad campaigns for your business. Now, the final biggest mistake that I want to share with you is underspending. I see it all the time. People reach out to me through all different networks, all different avenues, social media, email. They call me up, they fill out a Google form, they reach out on different platforms, and they want help with their Facebook advertising. And one of the things I always ask is, how much are you spending on Facebook ads? Look, if you're not spending at least $100 to $150 a day, you shouldn't be advertising. You know, if people are spending, say, $10, $20, $50 a day on Facebook ads, you're not even at the average, right? Because I run an agency, we get the unique opportunity to talk to Facebook ad reps every week. We're on the calls with Facebook themselves and their advertising representatives or consultants at least 5, sometimes 10 times a week on different accounts. And yes, they always want us to spend more of our clients' money. And yes, we don't always follow their advice on that particular case, but they do have some good insights. They do see the algorithm changes, and they do know things that we don't, and they do know things that any agency doesn't know because they are part of the Facebook ecosystem. So we often jump on calls with them, the Facebook ads expert from Meta themselves, and just to see what they have to say, just to see if there's one or two things that they could suggest about our clients' ad campaigns or even our own ad campaigns that could just move the needle a little bit. But one of the things they tell us frequently over and over again is to just make sure that our clients are spending the average amount of money. Now, the average amount of money is that $100 to $150 a day. So if you're at, say, $50 a day, you're half below average. So what that means is you're going to get below average impressions, below average clicks, below average sales, and below average leads, right? So if you want to be average on Facebook, you've got to have $100 to $150 every single day. Any less than that, and then you're diluting the effectiveness of the campaign because you can't get enough impressions to get enough clicks to get enough sales or leads, right? And so, you know, with $20 a day, if you split that across 2 or 3 creatives and one ad set is only doing $10 a day, that's like a drop in the bucket. It's like not even going to matter. It's like taking a drop of water, putting it in a big barrel, right, and just dropping that one drop of water in a big barrel. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever. Or the other way I show, the other metaphor I give people, I say, it's imagine driving down the highway. And you know when you drive down the highway, you see those big billboards, right? And the big billboards have the big signs about, you know, a particular business, like they're just print media, right? But you'll see them driving down the highway regardless of what country you live in. Well, imagine, if you like, that there was a business card on a stick on the side of the road and it was like that big, like just as big as a business card next to all of those big billboards. What chance do you think that someone's going to have at spotting that business card? Now, unless they pull over on the side of the road and they're broken down and they've got a flat tire and they pull off the highway and they're pulled off next to your business card on a stick, then they might see it. But compared to all of the other advertising, they're not even going to be seen, right? People are moving too fast, like they do on social media. They move fast by the scroll, right? And they're just overtaken with the amount of other information that's available to them. So you've got to make sure that you're spending at least the average, and that puts you in the ballpark and puts you in the game, in the same game as everyone else. Underspending is a big problem with many people on Facebook advertising. So before you throw more money on your Facebook advertising, make sure you fix up some of those broken things with your Facebook ads. And if you want any more help, reach out to me. There's 3 ways that we can work together. I've got an online business school that you can get started and go at your own pace. It's a do-it-yourself process where you can consume the content that I create, but in a more members style area where I walk you through the exact step-by-step process of how to do these things yourself. Alternatively, you can join one of my boardroom sessions. It's a Sales and Marketing Boardroom where people just like you can work directly with me and have me work in your accounts with you. Or alternatively, you might be a business or brand that's just looking for agency services to do it all for you. In any case, see the description below this video for those 3 options of either joining my business school, becoming a boardroom member, or reaching out for agency services.